always say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Well, bottle wall. Words are hard, guys. Words are hard. This is going to be a great episode.
This is why you do the
4
intro.
hours. Right? We're going 4 hours. We are back for another episode, another week. Welcome back to Boom, Buck, and Blue podcast.
New logo.
New logo is out. I don't know if you care. Hey, by the way, special shout out to our number one fan.
Matt Gray.
Matt Gray. Hey, we see you. We weren't in time to help you out with your fantasy football picks. But I hope you did good.
And let's get real. You want my picks, not Ryan and Jimmy's. I always won.
Hey, I at least have one, and I was in the – listen, okay. I made 3 finals. I won 1, and I lost 2, and 2 were against you.
Yeah, I know.
And I did win 1, and the only reason I won it is because Peyton Manning threw 70 touchdowns in 1 year.
Yeah, I think I won 4 in 5 years. So. But anyways, yeah.
4 in 5 years.
I still got the trophy, too.
Yeah, I never got that, by the way. Whatever happened to that?
It's in my closet.
Yeah, but the year that I was supposed to have it, I never got it.
I don't know, Ryan. You're probably cheap and said you didn't want to pay to send it back.
Probably.
Valid point.
I'll tell you what. So speaking of fantasy football, and I'm going a little squirrel here. I was thinking about it. I don't necessarily miss it. But if we were to get big enough and get enough interest, the question is I know Matt would love to play, but I'm wondering if there are other people who listen to our podcast who might want to get in on a Boom, Buck, and Blue fantasy football league. It's too late to do it this year, but it's just something I thought about randomly.
Yeah, I'd be down because I'm not currently not in any league, and I've took like 2 or 3 years off, and I'm kind of feeling an itch. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not in any. I'd play. Yeah, I think.
No, not for money, just for for pride or maybe a belt.
Who knows? Maybe I'll get bored and make Boom, Buck, and Blue T-shirts, and if you win, I'll send you a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But I do.
I only wear tank tops, by the way.
Thongs.
Yeah.
But
tank top thong combos.
Matt Gray, we are going to make shirts. I'll probably make them sooner or later. I will send you a shirt, and with that shirt will come a card with money for a case of beer on it. Matt Gray did hit me up last night or the day before, I can't remember. And we were chatting, and he was like, "Hey, I finally made it to the 3-hour mark, and here's my beer." So,
hey, listen, he did it. You said you would do it, and you got to do it now.
I did, and I'll send him money for it. I have no problem. I'm glad he's listening.
Otherwise, you're not a principled individual.
Fuck my principles. So, kind of moving
let's
on.
Get into it.
Yeah, big things. College football, obviously, that's kind of our.
Hold on, before we get into college football, Ross.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Ryan,
I don't know if you know this. Oklahoma lost.
I didn't get to watch it because I was working, but
yeah.
Ross did kind of hint at something like this happening. I know he kind of thought it would happen to Texas, but
yeah, and I mean, I got to kind of go on my little rant about OU right now. I mean, it was a horrible loss, and hearing a lot of people and what they're bitching about. I think to me, they're bitching about the wrong things. Because if you watch the game, one thing, and Jimmy, we talked about it earlier this week. The one thing that like OU always does or always has, and that's big, mean sons of bitches on the offensive line. We have always, like, when we played Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, I'm just bringing those games up because you guys have elite defenses pretty much year in and year out.
Yeah.
For the most part, we could line it up and just say, all right, we're going to ram this down your fucking throat. There's nothing you do about it. Granted, our defense couldn't stop your quarterback from running a sneak 80 yards. But, I mean, nobody could really stop our run game because we had these mountain of men that were just mean. They wanted to knock you back 10 feet, put you on the ground, then put you 10 feet under the ground.
Yeah, you're constantly in the running for that. What's the word called for best offensive line?
Yeah, we won it 3 years ago. Bill Bedenbaugh is a fantastic – if he's not the best offensive line coach in the country, he's one of them. This offensive line was absolute freaking trash. It was absolute garbage. Yeah. OU, who runs the ball incredibly well, we've had stupid amount of running backs in the last 5-6 years alone, not to go back any further, we only averaged 3.7 yards a carry against Kansas State.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler, I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I think honestly thinks he'll get a Heisman before he leaves Oklahoma. However, he is still young. This is only his second game.
First year as a starter.
Yeah, and he was running all over. He was running for his life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the main issue, because a lot of people want to bitch about our defense. And granted, it wasn't perfect by any means. But we still are building this offense. If you look at it, I mean, personally, there's some busted plays, obviously, which I don't want to see happen. Overall, I was very happy with how the defense played. Till about 3 minutes left in the third quarter, right, it was 35-14. At that point, Kansas State had I think it was 7 possessions. They had punted the ball 5 of those 7, and 4 of those 5 punts were 3-and-outs. That's pretty damn good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's Kansas State, and they're not an offensive juggernaut by any means, but I mean, if you told me that, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'll take that. 4 3-and-outs.
We talked about Kansas State being one of those teams that, and you've said it, always plays OU tough.
They do, and
they play and they're hard nosed. They got them. They got a tough team.
Chris Kleiman's played Lincoln twice, and he's 2-0.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but he knows something. But going back to the offensive line, so I think what happened is, if you look after that, OU went interception, punt, fumble. It was a fumble, punt, interception. None of those went longer than 5 plays. Our defense was fucking exhausted at the end.
Yeah.
They hadn't played it like the first week we played. They didn't play a full game because we were playing Missouri State and it was 800-0.
Yeah.
We didn't get full practice, so they're not used to playing full games. I think as well as they played, I think at the end they just got gassed.
Hey, and that's baked into the cake when it comes to having those offenses that are on and off the field. Either they score in 5 plays or they 4-and-out or whatever, right?
Right. I mean,
that defense will really start struggling when you start playing that way.
Yeah,
but if you get an offense that can, if you get an offense that can move the ball, they're still not on the field.
They'll get a break.
They'll get a break. Yeah.
Well, and OU used to be able to do that, Jim. Like I said, used to, as in last year and the years before, when we got big. When we were up 35-14, 21 points with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, fucking Kansas State shouldn't have touched the ball 3 more times. We should have lined it up and ram it up their ass and just ran the clock.
But you can't do that when your offensive line is trash.
But our offensive, we could do it last year and the year before and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened to the offensive line? Is you just not getting the guys in, or did they all go pro? Or
so of our 5 starting offensive linemen last year, 4 of them were drafted in the first 5 rounds of the NFL draft. They're all gone. Our center, Creed Humphrey, is back, but he's one of the guys. He's looking lazy as hell. Sam Mays on the sportscast that I listened to, he's an All-American Oklahoma State offensive lineman. He watches the offensive line, and he knows what the hell he's talking about. And he said watching that game, he's like, the tackles actually did pretty good for first starts. Or beginning start. He said, but that interior line, he's like, they didn't finish plays. They were standing around. They looked lazy, including our All-American Creed Humphrey. So he's like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Wow,
man.
So, and then the other thing, and just angers me so much. And don't get me wrong, I think Alex Grinch is a great coordinator. I think he is doing good things on the defense. But scheme-wise, I'm going to ask you 2 guys. You guys do know college football, but by no means are any of us college football coaches or schemes, and brilliant minds. If it's 4th and a half yard, 4th and 1, 3rd and a half yard, you're on the half-yard line, whatever, and offense lines up and the quarterback gets under center, what the hell's coming?
Sneak,
exactly.
Yeah.
Quarterback sneak. This happened 4 times in the game, right? Not once did OU have a nose tackle. We had the defensive tackles over the guards, but nobody over the center. So literally all you had to do was snap the ball, fall forward, boom, there you go.
Yeah, that's a big question mark. What is that about?
I wonder if the only thing I could think of is the concern for the big play over the top. Because But
most of this stuff came inside the 10-yard line, so there's not really.
I would say, could you say that it's because maybe Grinch doesn't trust your DBs to be able to cover on a breakout play?
I wouldn't think so. That's where like literally our most seniority is in the defense backfield. So, and like to put it more, like talking about like, oh, maybe you're scared of the play or the over the top. Skylar Thompson, their quarterback, who's a big kid. I mean, he's kind of one of those big runners. He's like 6'3", 225, runs hard. He had 9 carries in the game, right?
Yeah.
Either one, you want to guess how many yards he had?
69.
Good guess. I like that number.
77.
10. 9 carries for 10 yards, and 3 of those were touchdowns. Because we did not line over the center.
Wow.
So when you have that, and then, I mean, Spencer Rattler had 3 picks. Granted, one of them was tipped at the offensive line. The last one was the last play at the end of the game that sealed the deal. But, I mean, we only had like 25 seconds and needed to go 65 yards.
Yeah.
So, but we had
that was it goes back to the offensive lines. Spencer Rattler, who's starting his second game as a college quarterback.
Yeah.
Looks to be very talented, obviously. Physically, he is very gifted. But if you don't have a good offensive line, and I'm sure he'll tell you the exact same thing, you got to have a good offensive line to have any sort of success.
Right.
Any sort of like strong and successful games.
Your head coach is such a offensive-minded guy. But, you know, that's kind of where you wish you almost had a guy that's more balanced, where you could have a strong head coach that goes to the defensive coordinator and says, if you don't line a guy up over the effing center on the next play, you're fired. Like, you're gone at halftime.
Yeah.
How much is he involved in the defensive? I'm sure he's not involved at all in the defensive game plan, is he?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. But I don't want to turn this into an OU rant. We got a lot of the college football. But I will tell you this, boys and girls. The stuff on the defense, there were some busted coverages, and they didn't get lined up. That can get fixed, right? That's it happens, but that can get fixed. The turnovers, the bad throws by Spencer Rattler, that can get fixed. Mm-hmm. This offensive line shit, that's not something you can fix. That's not something you can fix in a week. And we are going to fucking Ames, Iowa.
Yeah.
Against a team that runs one of the most complicated schemes in the Big 12. They have game film to show how they play. I wouldn't be shocked to see if OU lost that game. And if they do that, then they're going to go to Texas. Granted, Texas's defense looked like trash.
Hot
trash. They look so bad. But, I mean, then we're going to go to Texas. Like, but that's the way the offensive line played Saturday with a young quarterback like that back there, we could very easily start the season 1-3.
That's rough.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell you when the last time that happened. But
I could tell you when you guys last started 1-2.
Yeah, that was when we played Houston. That was playing against Houston that was like number 5, then Ohio State that was number 1 or 2.
Yeah.
This is Kansas State and Iowa State. Don't get me wrong, they're good football teams, but OU should win that majority of the time. So
I don't disagree.
That game, the night game in Ames, it's supposed to be cold. And Iowa State didn't look fantastic against TCU, but they are not a bad football team. And Matt Campbell's one hell of a coach.
Can I ask you something? If there was 1 year for this to happen with the whole shortened season and all that stuff, like, would this be the year?
Yes.
Would this be a year where you're like, I'm okay? Like, yeah, if we suck this year, who cares? We'll get back at it next year. Once everything gets back to normal, we can.
100%. If it's going to happen, it'd rather be this year. Obviously, you don't want it to happen, but okay, if it happens this year, fuck it.
That's the same. I'm the same thing with Penn State. Like, if Penn State goes out there and I don't think they're going to be that good this year. Like, I'm kind of pessimistic on Penn State, but if they go out and don't play well this year, I use it as a year to, get some experience under these players' belt and use it as a learning season for going forward the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I
don't agree with you guys because if Ohio State wins a national championship, it still counts as a national championship.
Oh no,
correct. And Ohio State's in a lot different book than Penn State is right now. Like, Ohio State is. True. I'm sure they're in the lead to go to the Final Four, right? Like, they're
considering their strength of schedule for the conference being.
Yeah.
So I think their 2 toughest games are going to be Penn State and Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think what he's saying, Jim, though. what he's saying is, if you're going to lose 3 games, would you rather have it in a full 12-game season where everything's normal, or a fucked up weird season like this where I'm like, yeah, okay,
I get it. Yeah, it's like you said, Penn State and OU are in different situations.
Yeah.
OU starting a brand new, well, not a brand new offense, but a brand new starter with basically a brand new offensive line, with no time to gel, with no time to prepare, or very little time to prepare for the season. I don't. My thing is, I think you got enough tape to learn, and hopefully, what's your offensive line coach's name?
Oh yeah, Bill Beanbo's going to be
Bill Beanbo. He's going to get him. Yeah, he's going to get. Yeah. Like his foot's going to be so far up their butts on this one, the water on his knees going to quench their thirst. Major pain. You're welcome. But anyway,
they were talking today that with that interior thing, we have brought in some very big 4 or 5-star recruit offensive linemen, and I think there's one freshman specifically that at guard that they're saying, screw it, put him in there.
Yeah,
like can't be much worse than last week. Fuck it, put him in there. Let the kid play.
Yeah,
and
we'll see. I'm going to be watching that one.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be watching that one. I watched that one. I was going back and forth between games, and that one at the time was clearly the most interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely. So besides my Sooners, I think there was a lot of games. Jimmy, you called it Mississippi State and Mike Leach. Absolutely hilarious. And SEC fans, I don't know if there are any of you out there that listen to it. Big Ten, you guys haven't had to deal with this, but the Big 12 has, and the Pac-12 has. Welcome to the Mike Leach era.
Yeah.
Give
him that boy KJ Costello stats. Just real quick.
KJ Costello, like the stats he's about to read. These are the stats. He broke almost every passing record in his first damn start.
Yeah. By the way, this is a guy who lost his job at Stanford.
Right.
And Stanford's not a bad team. They're not a great team anymore, but
8-win team.
They were great when they had, Andrew Luck there. But
yeah,
they're an 8-win team. And okay, let me rattle off these stats here. Where'd it go? There we go. KJ Costello of Mississippi State, formerly of Stanford, went 36 of 60, 623 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Jesus.
Against LSU.
Granted, they lost a lot, but it's still LSU. They also
it's still LSU. They still have talent.
Yeah, they reload.
Yeah. Insane.
That was a close game.
Yards.
It kind of LSU was still in it at the end, weren't they?
Yeah, they were there.
They lost by 10.
Yeah, Mississippi State scored there once, like in the final 5 minutes to pretty much seal it. But I mean, LSU was within 3-4 for the middle half of the game.
Yeah.
LSU, they have the dogs, like they have the guys to play.
They also
they don't have the coaching anymore. All they have is Ed Orgeron, and granted, we love Ed Orgeron here.
Oh, he's a national treasure. He is
a national treasure. Go Tigers! We love him. But
yeah, they probably have the best 2 coaching personalities. Those 2 teams.
Oh yeah,
like with Leach and Ed Orgeron, like that's.
And by the way, Lane Kiffin's weirdly. Oh, by the way, that's what they said. It was Mississippi has 3 great coaching personalities now. You've got Mike Leach at Mississippi State. You have Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And now you have Deion Sanders at Jackson State.
Yeah.
As head coach. That's incredible.
So it's more of a little fun facts on this, Jim, that I want to kind of say. Their receivers. So they had 3 wide receivers go over 120 yards. Osiris Mitchell. Osiris Mitchell last year had 29 catches for 430 yards and 6 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
Saturday, he had 7 catches for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns, almost half of the yards he had in the whole season. Kylan Hill, he'll be, I guess, haven't heard of him. He's going to be fun. Oh, the running back he's a 1,300-yard rusher last year. He had 7 carries for 34 yards, but he had 8 catches for 158 yards.
Yeah, he's not running the ball anymore.
What does this do to the SEC? like obviously they did it to a depleted LSU squad, I'll say.
Well, it's just, I think
does Mississippi State, do they play Alabama this year? They're on the same side,
think they're
right?
I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on. I mean, I think regardless if it's against the depleted LSU. I mean, Mike Leach's system is something that it could beat anybody at any time.
And that's what.
Yeah.
If Mississippi State gets these SE teams to get into these shootouts, like
What teams can hold up? What teams?
yeah, what teams can hold up to this? And
I'd say
I
think,
got a feeling teams like Alabama are going to have their defense is going to be good enough to where they can game plan against this and maybe hold them a little bit. And I'm sure Alabama will get their points, but
I think Alabama, I think Florida, I think Georgia.
How did Auburn look actually, Auburn looked all right.
They played Kentucky 29-13.
Yeah,
all right.
well, they pulled away. For a while, Kentucky was right there till halftime. Second half, they pulled away.
Yeah.
So looking at the Mississippi State Bulldogs schedule, they got Arkansas, then Kentucky, woohoo. Then they play Alabama, or Texas A&M, then Alabama. Then they play Vanderbilt. Then they play Auburn, Georgia, Ole Miss. Like, they play them all.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what every single big gun in the SEC, minus Florida, can do against Mike Leach.
Yeah, and I'd say, like, he's a new
it.
coach. Yeah, he's a new coach. He's coming in and all that stuff, but he's not a new coach. If you don't have game tape on Mike Leach's offense by now, then you've got like,
that's
I don't know what you're doing.
Tape.
Yeah, like you know what's coming. Like how well are these teams prepared to,
I think I want to know. I want to know if it was after or before KJ Costello transferred to Mississippi State when Mike Leach was named head coach. I would like to think it was after because Mike Leach, Gardner Minshew, who's now starting for Jacksonville and is a very good quarterback. If he doesn't have Mike Leach as a head coach, he's probably not in the NFL. And the same thing goes for KJ Costello.
Right.
Now there's the possibility that KJ Costello at Mississippi State could be drafted in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know about first 3 rounds, but he'll get drafted for sure.
Well, I'm thinking of like where Dak was, because Dak was Mississippi State, and he was drafted like 3rd round.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'm not saying he's Dak. It's a different offense. Obviously, I'm just. By
the way, I got to tell you real quick before we move on. I got to tell you the greatest Mike Leach story ever.
Is it the one where he faked the playbook to be stolen?
Yes.
Yeah,
no, he didn't. Well, he didn't when his OU, he was the offensive coordinator at OU, Texas. We're out there warming up. Mike Leach has a play sheet with all fake plays and the like in our lineups, like with how we line up. And then he just purposely set it down in the middle of the field and walked off. And sure enough, the Texas coaches admitted, like, oh no, we found that. And it took us about a half to figure out it was all bullshit. I was like, that is the greatest thing ever.
I just feel like Mike Leach is a step ahead in a lot of those areas, man. He's a kooky guy that.
Did he play? Was he a player? Because there's some coaches that just never played football. And I think Mike Leach was one who didn't actually play college football.
Granted, he's older. He doesn't look like a football player.
I feel like he played more Dungeons and Dragons than football, but it could be.
One thing I want to get into real quick. I heard something very interesting. I don't think that it will happen. However, it's something we kind of talked about last week or dabbled on. We talked about who should make the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Right. So
my top 4 is different now.
An interesting take is the NFL, the NBA, baseball, hockey, all of them have expanded the playoff just for this year.
Thinking maybe?
Well, with with Ohio State, or the Big Ten winner possibly only playing 6 games when others could play 9. The Pac-12 only playing a 6 or 7 week season. Them maybe only playing 7-6 weeks, and all the conundrum that could be if there's a year to attempt it and have a reason to expand it without breaking like the contract. This is the year.
Do you think they would have like kind of said that by now? Like, do you think it's too late for them to try to expand? Or
I don't know. They might be taking the Big Ten attempt on, how to handle press, and it's all wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was a very interesting thing, and like I said, this would be the perfect year with people playing less games than others. Because most of the times, like most of the teams up for the running have played 12 games. And it's like, okay, who's got the best record and who's got the best resume? That's easy.
Yeah.
But now we're going to have teams with 9 games, some with 8, 7. Shit, some might only have 6 or 5, depending on how the Pac-12s go.
Hey, Jimmy, we were talking about it earlier, but how in the Pac-12, like who's the leader of the pack right now? You said Oregon, right? Is that?
Yeah, Oregon. Well, Oregon was the last champ.
I think
so.
If I had to pick a team out of the Pac-12, and it's kind of a flyer, hot take, yes, I like Arizona State.
Yeah,
they got that quarterback, right?
Yeah, Daniels. I like them.
Yeah. Well, Utah's still there.
Yeah, and Utah's always a good team. So,
Utah had a very old. Oh, I'd say very old. A lot of seniors. They had a lot of upperclassmen on their team last year, and I know they lost a lot of that.
Yeah, but they always seem to bring back good players. Utah, you're right. They're always a good team. But I just thought it was a very interesting thing. I'm like, if there's a year to do it, kind of we're talking about, fuck it, do it this year.
Yeah,
I still don't think OU's going in, even if you put 12 teams in there. I don't think we're making it. But I mean, I think that would pretty much kibosh the talk we're talking about of, a one-loss Miami team that's played 2 more games than, say, Ohio State that's undefeated. Well, who are you going to pick? I don't know. Well, that's confusing. Well, expand the damn playoffs. You don't have to make it huge. And plus, one of the big knocks on why they say they don't expand is because number of games played. Well,
they're not playing as many games. That is an excellent point.
And if they're already limited,
very good point. And it's like you said, when we brought up with the Big Ten, like Ohio State being the clear favorite out of the Big Ten to possibly make the playoffs, if they miss out on a game that gets canceled because, if their team or the opposing team the game gets canceled, then now they're looking at, instead of 8-0, now they're 7-0.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, okay, well, one of their games was canceled. You can't not put them in. But yeah,
obviously you'd have to take into consideration who's like, if it's the Ohio State Rutgers game, okay, who gives a shit? But if it's Ohio State Penn State, then it's like, that's a big game.
Yeah.
They brought that up, and it kind of, I was driving on the road, it kind of made my head tilt a little bit, and I was like,
point.
You know what? That's actually a good idea, especially this year.
Yeah. We talk about Big 12. Big 12's not looking too hot.
We're not.
In particular, I'd like to talk about that Texas Tech game.
You know what I was more mad about? OU losing or fucking Texas Tech blowing that?
Texas Tech had that game won. They were losing for 3 quarters, I think. They were losing for 3 quarters. And then, half, they were lost at the half for sure. And they scored 21 points in the 3rd quarter. And then they scored 14 in the 4th, but then Texas scored 18 to tie it up.
They were up 10 points or 14 points with 3 minutes to play. They're up 14 points and lost.
Wait, the Falcons or
Texas?
No. The Falcons, that's true.
I mean, they got the same colors if you want to be real about it.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's what it is. Teams that just feel like they want to look like the Mean Machine from The Longest Yard decide they're going to just blow everything. Yeah.
I was like, when Texas Tech, the running back busted like that 45-yard touchdown run to put them up 14. I literally, I was in my living room and I stood up and I was cussing at the screen, literally wow, yeah, baby, he gone. I was freaking stoked, and then I kind of started playing with my son because I thought the game was over, but it was on in the background. And then dinner came, and I was just like, shit.
Do you not like Texas or something?
I'm
just guessing.
I love them. They're my favorites. Speaking of that, but I will say, Big 12 not looking that hot. OU obviously does, and they have holes. Alex Bowman, the quarterback for Texas Tech, he's good, but he's not a stud. Other than that, they don't really have that many weapons. Granted, Texas Tech does put up numbers. Not as much as the Kingsbury Leach days, but they still put up numbers.
No, yeah.
But they're not loaded with talent. And they put up 56 on Texas's defense.
Yeah.
So Texas obviously has holes.
Yeah.
TCU's know what it is. Oklahoma State they look better this week. I will say that. Oklahoma State did look better.
Did they play the freshmen?
Yeah, they played Elliott. Spencer Sanders will probably be back next week. He was a game time decision. He was out there in pads. and then kickoff game, and he ended up not playing. So he'll probably be ready to go this upcoming week.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oklahoma State looks pretty decent. But other than that, I mean, it ain't pretty. I'll tell you that. I'm not seeing much from the Big 12. Like,
yeah, that's a good call last week. I mean, you kind of nailed that one
Yeah.
on the head. The Big 12 might be left out this year.
SEC, their top end teams looked good. Florida, Georgia.
I'll tell you what, Florida impressed me.
Alabama.
Florida's kind of like Miami of the last couple years. They always have very good defense, but their offense is ho-hum, hit and miss. You know, not exactly high powered. Miami's offense is holy crap.
Oh my gosh.
Florida put up a stupid amount of points.
Well, to be fair, against a terrible team, but that's what we always say it.
Yeah,
that's what good teams are supposed to do against bad teams. They're supposed
right. When
to
people
put
say,
up big
"Oh, well, you played whoever."
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Good teams, when they play shit teams, are supposed to thump them into the ground.
Correct.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Not lose to them by 3 and give up 21 points like the goddamn Sooners.
Yep.
But no, I'm a little disappointed. Like, not a little disappointed. Obviously, we are big disappointed in the season. But it's because of the COVID, and we miss out on Florida Miami, which I think this year would be a great game. I think that would have been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to watch. That's a good point. Dang it.
Yeah. So thanks, COVID, again.
Thanks, China.
You bitch.
Bat eaters. Okay, so we're gonna go real quick. One note before, not that it really matters, we hadn't talked about it, but before we get into our picks real quick and hit the NFL and everything, the Pac-12 is back and the Maction is back.
Hell yeah.
So Maction's back, and that's always fun. I know Jimmy loves some Maction, and they're fun.
I do love me some Maction.
It's official. All 5 Power 5 conferences are playing football in the fall.
That's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Shortened season, great. But we're playing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think a lot of things changed in the month of August to allow the Pac-12 to start to think about the possibility of playing. Also, with the Big Ten coming back, I think they started talking about whether they're going to do it or not. Same thing with the MAC. And like I said, a lot of things changed in August to include the updated CDC survivability rates,
right?
Which are, at this point, it's not nearly as lethal as the flu. Like, it's severely lower. It's great news. Yeah, it's great news.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but we'll see what's going on.
So yeah,
Florida. I think Florida's wide open now. Like, all restaurants are back to 100%.
But yeah, I was really happy to see that. All 5 Power 5. Depending on how the Maction works, I haven't heard anything about how or if they're going to do a bowl season.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough.
Right.
I don't think it's
it's 2 months away. It's not exactly really far.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got bowls all over the country. Instead of it being, because all these bowls are contracted out to certain conferences, right? Number 7 of the SWAC will play the number 8 of the blah blah blah. In the what is it? The Copper Bowl in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, it was the Arizona Bowl. We went to that a couple times.
It was Arizona Bowl. Scotty McHops.
Me and Jimmy went to the game against Utah State versus
it was like Utah State and Nevada. It was cold and boring, and
we did our own commentary.
It was a blast. I had a blast, and
I must not have got the invite for that one. That's kind of weird.
It's because you had left us. So how about that?
Yeah, you deserved it.
Anyway. Yeah, so I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that certain teams in certain areas geographically can just play in those bowls. Why not?
Right.
Make money.
Let's do these picks.
Yeah, all right, so let's get into these picks.
Jimmy, get your spreadsheet out and keep track of who votes what, damn it.
Hey, listen, eat my butt. Anyway.
No, I'm good. So these guys, I wrote them down, but I haven't even thought about my pick. So they don't have no clue what I'm about to say on game. So we're going to just do hot
take. Just said a double negative. They don't have no clue. That means we have a clue.
Jimmy,
listen, we're professional podcasters. Get it right.
Jimmy, jump out a window.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my dad.
Okay. First game. Number 13 A&M at number 2 Alabama. Bama by 16.5.
God.
Ryan, what you got?
Jesus.
16 and a half. That's a
Um,
lot.
These are shotgun picks. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to look up anything right now as I'm looking it up. No, let's go with 16 and a half. 16 and a half. Is it at Alabama?
Yeah, it's at Bama.
I'll take Bama.
They're probably going to be at like 60% capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Bama.
All right. Jim?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bama as well.
Okay.
Ross, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm glad I went with Bama.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bama.
I just looked up A&M's game against Vanderbilt. They scored 17 points.
Yeah.
That's the number 10 team in the country against Vanderbilt.
And, I mean, I don't know who the OC is, but I mean, they still have Kellen Mond. He's been there for a while, and he's not bad. He's not fantastic, but he's not bad. So I don't know why they only scored 17. Or
I think Kellen Mond got a big name because he played so damn well against LSU that one time.
Hey, is Kenny Trill still there? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up going to Tennessee, and he's like, "Don't call me Trill anymore."
I want Kenny Trill. No, I don't. All right, whatever, dude. Okay, so we all got Bam on that one. Auburn at Georgia. Georgia 7. So it's number 7 Auburn to number 4 Georgia. I mean, at Georgia, night game, but granted, nobody's gonna be there.
So,
Jimmy?
what's the spread?
What's the spread?
Oh, I thought I said it. Georgia by 7.
Oh, okay. You want me to go first on this one, huh?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Georgia. I want to go with Georgia. I saw before we got into the picks that JT Daniel could possibly play. He's been cleared to play, so he's available.
He has been cleared to play. That is true.
So I'm gonna go with Georgia.
I'm going to go with Auburn because Jimmy went with Georgia. Jimmy is.
Yeah, I didn't do so well last week, guys. I did. Listen. I should get extra points because I picked the upset win of Mississippi State over LSU. So I win basically. When I expect my trophy to be in here next week.
Still only counts as one.
You said it. I got to do it now.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Georgia. I was really hard pressed. I think I like Bo Nix. And JT, what's his nuts? Daniels. I mean, first time playing, I think he might have some growing pains, but I mean, Georgia was like sneaking by freaking who the hell did they play last week? Arkansas at halftime. I was like, holy crap, Georgia could lose. And then I looked back like 5 minutes later, it's 37-10.
Yeah, they were down 7-5 going into the half and then rattled off 22 in the third.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, there you go. So, yeah, I think Georgia's going to I think Georgia's more the second half team than they are that first half.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably going to see a lot of that once it gets into the more difficult games. You look at it like with Florida Ole Miss. It was kind of tight. It was kind of tight starting. I mean, Florida had control of that game, but then they went and stopped them and scored when we're like 13-10. It was pretty consistent scoring for Florida. I think Florida might be actually really good.
I do too. I think they're going to be really scary. Yeah. All right, third game. Baylor at West Virginia. Baylor is a 3-point favorite.
Has Baylor played a game yet?
They played.
Wow, 2 postponed. Or no, they played Kentucky or Kansas.
Yeah, they played 1.
2 postponed games though.
Yeah,
so they've only played 1 game, and they beat Kansas by 100.
Wait. How do they have 2 postponed games?
They played because I mean, there's.
Oh yeah, because they played this last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
sure.
Yeah, they Baylor beat Kansas in their 1 game they've played 47-14.
And what did you say? West Virginia or Baylor's a
3-point
favorite?
Yeah.
Ross, you go first because we've both gone first.
That's some bullshit, Jim. I'm running.
I see. Listen, I read your game from the beginning, and I'm like, I'm not going to let you get away from this.
I'm going to go with West Virginia. They've got an incredibly high-powered offense.
That scored 13 points last week.
That scored 13 points against Oregon State or Oklahoma State.
Against Oklahoma State, yeah. He's.
Really powerful defenses coming out of Oklahoma State in the past 10 years.
They play pretty good, but when they, I like West Virginia's offense. Really
everybody knows Big 12's defensive centric.
Their quarterback, Doge, Daggy, whatever, Doge. I forgot how you say his name. Jarrett Doge, out of Lubbock.
Top dog.
Is a very good quarterback. Threw for 3,000 yards, 27 touchdowns last year. In his first year starting, and I think he's going to do well. And Baylor lost their coach to the Giants. The team that kind of brought him back.
Carolina.
So, yeah, Carolina. And he's the guy that rebuilt Baylor after Baylor deservedly got thrown down a toilet.
Yep.
I feel you voting or going with West Virginia on that one just because you despise.
I don't like Baylor. I don't
like them either. What was it? It was after Art Briles got fired. Their entire student section were wearing
Bring Back Briles
shirts. I'm like, no. After you realize what he did?
Yeah, after it came out, he covered up rape.
Yeah, we did talk about it because it was Sean Oakman. Sean Oakman was sort of like the centerpiece of that whole thing, and then he was exonerated.
Well, but there's others too.
There were other ones. Other ones.
Sean Oakman.
It wasn't just So, but still, he was under investigation, and Art Briles was trying to cover it up.
Yeah, Art Briles is a piece of shit.
By the way, I remember that Sean Oakman. He went to Penn State, by the way, and got kicked off the team by Bill O'Brien.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
So I remember that. Baylor. I'm going West Virginia.
I'm going Baylor.
I also am going to go Baylor because West Virginia scored 13 points against Oklahoma State.
Yeah. I know it's Kansas. I guess.
And it's tight.
Pretty much you could say any team against any team in the Big 12, and Kansas probably doesn't have a very good defense, and putting up 47 on them is not
very hard.
Not the hardest thing to do in the world, I'm guessing, but they still showed they could put up points. And
Coastal Carolina beat Kansas, for the love of God.
Coastal Carolina aren't they one of the better teams in their conference at least?
Kansas is in their
we haven't done our top 4 picks this week.
The Campbell Camels. They don't count.
All I'm saying is Coastal Carolina is in my top 4 now.
They're up.
No, I'm going Baylor. Okay. You got Jim. Oh, you went Baylor.
I got Baylor. And then 3 points it's too tight. I don't think West Virginia, because Baylor's built. They've got a decent defense. They're not the best defense in the Big 12, which granted it's not saying much, but it's like Iowa State and then Baylor, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Baylor. I don't think West Virginia can score, and I think Baylor can still score.
By the way, on a complete side note, going back to that Mike Leach thing, and granted, I'm not saying the Big 12 plays fantastic defense because obviously they don't. But my argument is usually well, look who not saying we're fantastic, but we do go against stupid offenses at all time.
Yeah, that's always that's a weird thing. Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting because the two conferences that are always posed to have the best defenses are the Big 10 and the SEC.
Uh-huh.
Now, if Mike Leach goes and fucking lights everybody up and be like, you can suck my ass. See, when you have to play this week in and week out like the Big 12 does, I'm like, it's hard. Not that we're great, but it's hard to do that week in and week out.
Yeah, and we always kind of judge that during bowl games. That's why we love bowl games, to see. Yeah. Let's see SEC defense against a Big 12 offense. Yeah. Let's see what happens. And that Mike Leach story it's going to grow and grow and grow. That's why I can't wait for them to play Alabama and play some of the big boys. LSU is one of those, and they put up a shit ton of points. So
not only that, but also with Mike Leach being in the SEC now. No offense to Pac-12, but he's in the SEC now. And quarterbacks knowing that they could go to Mike Leach, put up stupid numbers in the SEC.
Yeah.
That's the gift of God right there to go to the NFL.
Yeah, you got Mississippi State, and then you got Washington
State.
You're gonna have probably a better ability or more
to bring in talent at Mississippi State.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go up against Alabama. You got to go up against Ole Miss and Deion Sanders at Jackson State. But I think it's going to be a lot easier for him to be able to pull in like top end talent.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I just wonder like how Mike Leach comes to your house to recruit you. Like, how's that conversation got to go?
Especially if you're
Probably
a
talks
quarterback
about
or wide
aliens.
receiver, and he goes, "Hey, come." All he has to do is walk and go, "Hey, you want to play for me?" you should say, "Yes, yes, I do."
Yeah, right.
I just feel like he would go on a tangent about, I don't know,
Pirates.
like Jimmy said, aliens and pirates and pirate aliens.
He loves pirates. They call him the pirate.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So third game, we have Ole Miss at Kentucky. Lane Train, and Kentucky is a 7-point favorite.
Wow.
Me
Ole
first.
Miss did not look terrible, but Florida, and it's like I said, I think Florida.
Well, and like I said, Kentucky did hold their own for a long time against Auburn.
Yeah. But I don't know. Auburn pulled away at the end there. So, and I don't think Auburn's offense, that's not their center point. Their center point is more along the lines of balance.
Well, yeah, it was
decent
the
defense and a defense offense. Yeah.
So after going into the third quarter, it was 15-13 Auburn.
Yeah.
And then Auburn scored 14 in the second half. But
and the spread it's 7.
Kentucky by 6.5.
6.5. Bunch of bottles.
Yeah, no.
The half point screwed me this week, by the way.
It's almost like they know what they're doing, you know?
Yeah, right.
I know, shocker. It's amazing like how many times you got close, Jimmy, but the spread screwed you. It's like Vegas makes money off this.
Yeah.
Shocker.
What do I think it's going to be tight? You're telling me, man. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. I'm going to go Ole Miss.
I'm going to go
Yeah,
Ole Miss.
I'm going Ole Miss.
I'm going Kentucky.
Why?
To go against me because it worked from last week.
To go against us?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
It's so
You know,
hard.
I didn't get to watch much college football this weekend, so I'm kind of shooting in the dark here. But I don't know. I got to. What you said? 7 points at Kentucky.
6.5.
6.5 at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the so Terry Wilson, Kentucky's quarterback, outplayed Bo Nix. Like he was 24 of 37 for 239 yards and a touchdown, but they only scored one touchdown. Yeah, that was the only thing. Was there one touchdown?
Yeah. Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I mean, I wasn't trying to talk you out of it because I think you're wrong, but
Because you'll never do that.
It's a lie. All right. Second to last game, Memphis at SMU. So was it SMU, whatever. People, you'll think about that. Number 25, Memphis. Memphis is only a 3-point favorite.
Wow.
And SMU, I mean, granted, I know you guys aren't Big 12 fans, but from Texas, their quarterback is Shane Buechele, who did start for Texas a couple years ago.
Was he the same quarterback they had last year?
SMU?
Yeah.
He played about half a season.
Because they were pretty good last year.
No, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong year. He started last year. He threw for 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions last year.
And one of the
right now he's played
uniforms of all time.
They've played 3 games, and he's got almost 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So they got a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And Memphis.
And their running back, holy crap. Jesus Christ. Their running back has had 36 attempts for 380 yards, averaging 10.5 yards a carry and 7 touchdowns.
Productive.
He touches the ball, he goes to the house. Granted, they've played Texas State, UNT, and Stephen F. Austin.
Dude, Mean Green is a solid team up there in Denton, Texas.
I think they've gotten thumped twice now.
I like Mean Green. Their head coach
Scott Bakula is their quarterback.
Isn't Sinbad one of their offensive linemen too?
Yeah, that is true.
And
They got
Kathy
Mark
Ireland. And Kathy Ireland is their kicker.
Yes. That's
Welcome
true.
to footballs.
I will say their coach is an Oklahoma City boy and an ex-OU player, so that's a plus.
I'm going with SMU.
Did you get SMU with the upset pick?
Yeah, upset pick. I mean, they're putting up some numbers, and you're right. Stephen F. Austin, Texas State, and UNT. I mean, those are high school teams.
But you're like we just said earlier in the podcast, good teams put up big numbers against bad teams.
They do what they're supposed to do. They beat the crap out of them.
I also am going to go with SMU.
And SMU's a good story. They're still recovering from the death penalty like 70 years ago, so it's always good to see them come back.
Hey, you've got to recover.
I mean, it's so recent.
Yeah.
Didn't their running back kill a hooker or something like that? I don't know.
No, the running back was
not Eric Dickerson, the other one.
It was
the white guy. No, I thought it was
the
like
analyst.
Yeah,
it's a
Craig,
rumor. It didn't
something.
happen.
Okay,
it's a joke.
I'm going to go with Memphis.
Okay. Yeah, 3 points ain't much.
Well, it's not much, and I think Memphis is a good football team.
Who's their head coach now?
I don't know, but the first game, or their quarterback threw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns in their first game, and they ran for 222 at the same time. So
who against?
Not too shabby. And plus, Shane Buechele went to Texas, so fuck him.
There it is. There's the real answer.
There it is.
Okay.
I mean, because reacting with your emotions works out so well.
Yeah, it works out great for me at all times. That's my life. So the last one. Oklahoma at Iowa State.
What's the spread? I gotta
Oklahoma
hear the spread.
Is a 6.5 point favorite.
Oklahoma. Bounce back game. Offensive line gets it together. So,
I think Iowa State traditionally over the past like 5 years, except for last year, if I'm correct, have played OU tough.
They beat us last time we were in Ames.
Yeah, and it's in Ames this year. Yeah.
Yes, it's in Ames.
Night game.
I'm
gonna go Iowa State on this one. Oh, that 6.5 screwed me last time.
Iowa State did lose to Louisiana.
They did, but I also thought they were going to lose the next week as well, and they ended up winning.
Yeah, and I think they found their running back, Brees Hall. Iowa State has Brees Hall, who ran for 154 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
I'm gonna go Iowa State on this one.
Wait, Jimmy, you writing all these down? Because I'm gonna forget every single one of them. Okay.
I'm like I said earlier. I mean, Iowa State's fucking good. Well, they're not fucking good, but they're scary as hell to play in Iowa, especially with Matt Campbell. This is not my most confident pick I've ever made.
Are they allowing fans in the stands? I mean, it doesn't really mean
they're going
much.
to allow fans. I don't know how many, but they say they are going to allow people. It's not going to be decked out, but Ames, and it's a night game. Everybody's going to be drunk. I wouldn't say it's going to be rocking, but it's going to be rocking as much as you can for a COVID season.
Yeah. I mean, the opportunity to send OU to 1-3.
Well, it's 1-2, and then we go into Texas.
Well, they're 1-2. They're 1-1 right now. Yeah, so you're going to 1-2. Yeah. Opportunity to go. Yeah.
I'm going to take Oklahoma. I do think, kind of Ryan, like you said, like the main things I think it is a bounce back game for OU. I think that Bill Bedenbaugh, Jimmy, like you said, is going to get that offensive line fired up. And I'm thinking, so Jimmy, you watched some of that game. I don't know if you noticed that number 1, our running back, Seth McGowan, the true freshman. He's good. He's very good, incredibly explosive.
And newsflash, OU can recruit good running backs.
Yeah, I know, right? Well,
one of them is now at Ohio State.
Yes, he is, and you guys are going to benefit very much from him. He's incredibly good. Trey Sermon, the preacher, preach. But I will say, I think, I feel like they've been slinging the ball a lot with Spencer Rattler. And don't get me wrong, he's a talented guy, but this does feel like the season, Jimmy, that you brought up when OU was 1-2. We lost to Ohio State. We lost to Houston, but they are having Baker throw the ball 40, 45 times a game. And we had Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon in the backfield.
Yeah.
And then after we lost you guys, they kind of reevaluated and we started just pounding the rock. And we went on a tear over the next 10 games. I think this offensive line might have a little problem pass blocking and moving. But if Bill Bedenbaugh can get them to just get mad and push people forward with Seth McGowan, I think OU will be able to run the ball. And I think that's what we're going to have it going forward. So I'm going to take OU. It's not the most confident pick I've ever made, especially with OU. And we got a lot of holes. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Sooners and like the 6.5. I mean, I don't think we're going to blow them out of the water. I mean, maybe 10 points. Might be like a 34-24 game. So.
Cool.
So, Jimmy, you got all those down, right?
Got them all.
Got them out. Don't next week. If you say you don't have them, I swear to God, you're fired.
Have them all. They're saved.
So moving forward, I know, guys, we're going a little quick usually rather than last time.
We're just trying not to go 3 hours, which
Right.
we could easily do. So we're trying to keep things moving.
I think we're going to hit a little bit of NFL. Jimmy wants to talk baseball. The only thing I'd say, NBA basketball, I'll keep it quick and simple. Congratulations to the Miami Heat getting to the NBA Finals. LeBron and the Lakers getting the finals. Heat, Lakers, obviously Lakers are favored. But the Heat have already beat some very good teams, and like they're just a likable team. Jimmy Butler sells coffee to his teammates for $20 a cup. It's fantastic.
Time.
I want to try this coffee.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
like Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler. He's a he's a weird guy. He's not weird. He's an individual. He's not afraid to be himself. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
Yep.
I guess like the because they're in the bubble, the hotel that serves coffee serves shit coffee. And they always run out. So Jimmy Butler brought all of his stuff because he likes gourmet coffee and he brews it for everybody and sells it for $20 a cup only to his team.
I mean, well, they can afford it.
That's awesome. I know.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I mean, I'll be rooting for the Heat.
Yeah, I think I'm going to root for the Heat too. I want Spoelstra to get his as a head coach without
But who do you think Dwayne Wade roots for? The team that he played for his
best
career
friend,
Heat, or his best friend in the world, LeBron James?
I'm willing to bet he roots for Miami.
Me too.
I do too. So,
but if they lose to LeBron, it's like a win-win type situation. I think he's all right with it.
So yeah, it should be a fun NBA Finals. Heat Lakers starting in a couple days. And yeah, that's all I got for NBA. So we usually go long on the NFL. So Jimmy, if you want to hit baseball up real quick, and then we'll kind of go.
Yeah. So starting tomorrow, the Major League Baseball postseason starts. We got our wild card series.
Say it, Jimmy. Say it.
It's Cleveland against the Yankees.
Yes, it is.
4 against 5, and it's in Cleveland, so that helps.
No,
all 3 games are
No, you're the home team, but they're doing the bubbles. Like all of our games will be played in Houston and Texas Stadium. All the National League
round.
I think it's all of them. I thought, and then the National League will be in LA and Arizona, and then the finals will be at the new Texas Arlington Stadium.
Yeah, I know they've got several series. I thought the first series was just like a 3-game series for the actual home team. I could be misreading that. No, yeah. ALWC, American League Wildcard Game 1 is in Cleveland.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be a bummer to beat you there.
Are they going to release the locusts again, or what?
No, because it's not that late in the year.
Oh, okay.
Because they're doing it.
Joba Chamberlain, remember that?
Joba Chamberlain and Fausto Carmona. It was the they called them chiggers, but which is
they called them what?
Too
Jimmy?
close. I know it's very close.
No, because chiggers are like the things that are on the grass and they're like really microscopic. These things look like small bats.
Oh yeah,
they were. It was. They're not mayflies. I haven't been home in a while, but yeah, they spawn for like a week.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Joba Chamberlain comes in I think he was like the setup man or whatever, comes in the 8th or whatever, and then they released him, and then
there was 2 different. Yeah, it was him and his name at the time was Fausto Carmona. It turns out he was actually 2 years older and somebody else completely. But yeah, that one hurt.
Let's be on the point here.
Indians won that series, and they were up 3-1 on Boston. I don't know what it is with Cleveland and 3-1 leads. but they ended up losing to Boston, who went on to win the World Series. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the
All right,
Yankees.
so
it was
that's gonna be a
7.
fun one to watch, especially for you guys. I mean, you guys, Ross, you
Yeah,
gonna be
that's so yeah, Ross, I was going to ask you any word on Judge? I know Stanton's back.
Judge is back. The Yankees.
Judge is back.
The Yankees lineup is fully back.
Okay.
So you're going to get the full fledged of the Yanks.
Yeah, I am excited to see what our pitching staff can do against your bats.
Right. Like if you looked at it when they rated like in all of baseball, like every team in the best lineups and the best pitching for bats, I think the number 1 was the Dodgers. Number 2 was the Yankees, and pitching number 1 was the Indians. So it's one of the best pitching staffs versus one of the best
lineups.
hitting.
Yeah, best bats.
And
I swear to God, if we can't get Brett Gardner out again, I'm going to lose my mind. That's what it was in 17.
Gardy went Gardy, throw a party.
Yeah, Brett Gardner just would not go out. And every single bat, I swear it was like 20 pitches. God, man.
Yeah, he's very good.
That was rough.
I think the Yanks, we'll see what happens. We're healthy again, which we got bashed in the middle of the season. But when we are healthy, we were one of the best teams in baseball. Everybody's back. Luke Voigt has been a very pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah. Leads the league in home runs.
Yeah, he has 22 home runs in 50 or 60 games. And the pitching, I mean, if Garrett Cole can get his freaking ass together,
he's still good.
Oh, he's still very good.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not the best pitcher in baseball right now, but he's top 5.
Well, and it's also one of the things he is getting the punishment of playing in Yankee Stadium, which is very much a hitter's park. No shit, he's going to give up more home runs. That's just the way Yankee Stadium is built. But with Tanaka and J. Happ and Montgomery, I think, and Garcia, there are some good pitchers, obviously not as good as the Indians. We do have a fantastic bullpen.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, and the Yankees actually did it a lot this year. They played Garrett Cole and Tanaka, and then they would literally just play a game where it went straight, nothing but relievers. Everybody pitched 2 innings. They went through like 5 or 6 pitchers.
Yep.
And I don't.
Yeah, I saw that a lot.
I think we did that a couple years ago in the playoffs when we played you guys, anyways.
I'd have to go back and look.
Oh, I think it wasn't that. But no, But I remember when we played you guys last time. We went to our relievers in like the 4th or 5th inning.
Yeah.
So. It's gonna be an interesting series. Clint Frazier is starting for us in left. Just fun fact.
I honestly think that's probably going to go 3 games. I would love to think the Indians could beat the Yankees, but I am concerned because their bats are hot now, but they've been ice cold before. So
who, the Yanks or the Indians?
The Indians.
No.
Yeah, the Indians' bats can go ice cold, right? And you guys have bats up and down that lineup. So
right.
They could be a lot of low-scoring games, and I would not be surprised to see the Yankees win that 3-game series. Obviously, I would love, but I don't think either of us are going to be able to get past Tampa Bay. They're just
they're fantastic.
Their pitching staff is not the best, but one of the best, and they're just consistent up and down their lineup.
Yeah, I'll take the Yankees against the Indians. I think.
Well, obviously, I'm going to take the Indians.
Well, I know, but I mean, I don't run. Your pitching scares the hell out of me because that's one of the most consistent. Pitching is always more consistent than bats.
Yes. A good bullpen and a great starting staff. My thing is, especially over the past week or so, I think the Indians over the past 7 days had 5 come from behind wins. So they're very tough. They'll stay in there. They'll at least do their damnedest to come back and try and win. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the Yankees got everybody back in time for the playoffs, which is nice.
Yeah.
And
and then the Marlins. Marlins made the playoffs first time since 2003, I think.
Right. Well, I think it's the first time that it's the Marlins and I forgot who the other team is. First time 2 teams have had 100 losses the year before and made the playoffs. Both teams.
Wow.
Let's see. That would be the Marlins and probably the Reds. No, the Reds weren't that bad.
Hold on.
I think they were probably the worst out of all of them. They were. Maybe it was the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays were bad last year.
No, Blue Jays only had 95 losses only.
Still a lot.
They're still pretty bad.
Maybe the Reds. Maybe the Reds.
But yeah, I think
the
the
Reds
playoffs.
snuck in. Reds had like 10 wins in a row, and they snuck into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun series. A fun playoffs. Extra teams in there.
Yeah. So if you got, I want to get it from you, because we did the preseason. Who we thought was going to be in the World Series. Who do you got going into the World Series this year?
Me?
Both of you.
Dodgers and somebody else.
I also have the Dodgers. I have the Dodgers going in. They're just firing on all cylinders.
I'm actually going to go away from the Dodgers. And the only reason is, don't get me wrong, they have the best lineup. They're playing the best baseball. There's no question. But they have done that for the last fucking 8 years. And what? They've made one World Series?
Yeah, they removed trash cans this year, though. So
yeah, they've been to the World Series, I think, 3 times in a row.
But they've
they didn't make it last year.
Last year they got bumped by
Milwaukee, right?
Yeah,
no, Cardinals. There's 1 year the Cardinals knocked us out, or knocked the Dodgers out 1 year.
It was 16. Wasn't it 16 or 17, 18? It was 17, 18 because you guys lost to the Astros who were cheating, and then you lost to the Red Sox who were cheating.
Yeah.
I have the Dodgers.
Remember when the Cardinals were winning every other year? Or was it every 4 years or every other year?
That was the Giants.
Giants was odd years.
Oh, the Giants.
The even years. It was the even years. It was 10, 12, 14.
They always got it.
And then the Cardinals were like 2009, 2008, I think. I can't remember. I have to go back and look.
Yeah,
every once in a while, I'll challenge myself to try and go back as far as I can on World Series winners. It's
an exciting life you live.
Listen, I don't have kids here right now, and I don't have kids here right now, and I'm single. So,
you hear that, ladies? Jimmy is single.
Yeah, look at that.
Come to the stage, Jimmy Irwin.
Your babysitter's on the phone. It's your kid on the phone. Your babysitter's drunk again.
But yeah, I'm going to go away from the Dodgers, and I'm going to go with the Braves. Second best team in the NL. I think the Dodgers will, I don't want to say blow it, but I think they'll lose to somebody they don't. And I just love me some Ronald Acuna.
Who could you see them losing to in that bracket? They got the Brew Crew, and then the other bracket is the Padres and the Cards.
Padres would be interesting.
Padres would be interesting.
Padres would be very interesting.
I got the Dodgers because, they've played because their proximity, and LA leads the series on that one. Padres, they didn't have Clevenger. Now they got Clevenger as a starter. So I don't know. I still get the Dodgers, and on the American side, I have the Rays.
They're that good, huh?
They're pretty good.
They're the best team in the American League. They're very good. And that pitching staff is insane. Tyler Glasnow, who's the other guy? The lefty, the heater with precision. I can't think. He's the Cy Young Award winner. Award winner. Blake Snell, yeah.
Snellzilla.
And their defense is quietly one of the best in the majors, I think, especially their outfield.
Yeah. Brian, who you got out of the AL?
I don't care.
Let's
be honest. Let's be honest. Hey, let me pick. I'll pick one out of my hat here. We'll go with.
I can run them down. And you just pick one real quick if you didn't bring it up. Get the Rays.
Toronto.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I mean, they're the number 8 seed.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you got to, Jimmy. Sometimes you got to go on a limb and.
Listen. That's very true. The Nationals were a wild card team. I think they're like the 5th team in the playoffs. They're like the number 2 wild card team.
So I'm going to throw out a fun one because why not? I'm going to go with the New York Yankees.
Listen.
Yeah, I guess if you said they got all their bats back and they're healthy and
they got their bats back, Jimmy, you know as well as anybody, the Yankees always start slow, and at the end they play well towards the end of the season.
Well, didn't they start hot this year before they got hurt?
Oh, yes. God, yes. Yes, very much so. And I do think that there is something to experience in the playoffs and playing playoff baseball. The Indians have it, obviously. The Yankees have it, obviously.
This isn't really playoff baseball, though. There's nobody in the stands.
But it's still playoff baseball. I mean, it's win or go home. That's playoff baseball.
Yeah.
Houston's got it. The Indians have it. The Yankees have it. The Tampa Bay Rays really haven't been in the playoffs. Blue Jays haven't. Athletics, and when I say haven't been in, I mean deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They've made the playoffs and they get knocked.
Yeah, I think the deepest the Blue Jays have gone was the American League Championship Series, and they lost. It was in 2016. That's when the Indians made the World Series.
Yeah, so
and that went to 7 games.
I'm going with the Yankees for the fact that I do think they're healthy.
Sweet.
I think Garrett Cole's going to pitch well, and I think that their experience playing this win or go home, deal with that kind of pressure is going to pop through because they're one of the. And the funny thing is, 2 of the 3 teams that have made the playoffs are playing the first round, Yankees and Indians.
Yeah.
That would be fun seeing Yankees Dodgers World Series though.
That's what not everybody. That's what all the moneymakers want, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm pulling out the Rays is just the they haven't been here before. They don't know this pressure.
Yeah.
I think the last time the Rays made the World Series was 2008. Played the Phillies and they lost.
And I know it's a completely different sport, but I mean, look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Easily had the best record in the NBA. Everybody thought they couldn't be touched. Swept by the Miami Heat in the second round.
Yeah.
Just because they'd never been there, they didn't have the experience. So, I think that's going to hurt some teams.
Well, Milwaukee, the Bucks were there last year, weren't they?
Well, I mean, when I say
they were like a top 2,
they were a top team. Yeah, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, lost to Toronto.
Yeah, the Bucks are not a constant playoff team.
It's just a matter of time before Giannis goes somewhere else.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Remember like Boston or Philly or
Golden State, probably.
Yeah.
God, if he goes to Golden State, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Jimmy, you haven't watched one game this year. What do you get?
I still don't like Golden State. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't like Steph Curry for some reason. I don't think he deserved his MVPs.
I like Steph Curry.
Jesus.
I don't. I guess LeBron should have got him.
I mean, Steph Curry,
because Steph Curry was the leader of that team until, and they were still dog crap until they got Draymond Green.
I do have a story here, and I have to mention our good friend Delmar.
Hmm?
I remember being at the bowling alley, it must have been 8 years ago, and I said Steph Curry is going to win an MVP one of these days. And 2 years later is when Golden State started going on that run, and I know he won MVP, he won a championship. Did he just win one MVP or 2?
2.
He's won 2, yeah.
I just had to throw that out there. Okay.
I know.
You guys laughed at me, and I'm an
I
idiot. And I also said
there.
Christian Hackenberg was going to be the greatest quarterback in the world. And I strike out sometimes.
But you're swinging. But you're swinging.
He's swinging for the fences. Ryan's swinging for the fences at all times.
So we can. We done with baseball? For the love of God?
We can move on.
We're gonna move on to the NFL. We got about 20, 25 minutes, which is plenty of time to talk NFL. So Ryan, I would like to bring something up to you.
Yes.
Your division.
Oh.
So I want to bring up some facts, and I don't want you to comment right now. I'm going to let Jimmy do it because it's more fun.
I will hold my tongue.
So Jimmy, Washington is 1-2.
Yes.
They're going next week to play the Ravens.
They're going to lose.
The Giants are 0-3. They're going next week to
I don't care.
LA to play the Rams.
They're going to lose. I don't care. They're going to lose.
The Eagles,
Giants are awful.
Wait, who are the Giants playing?
The Rams in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Eagles are going to play the 49ers in San Francisco.
Eagles are going to lose.
So this one, the Cowboys are playing the Browns. And granted, don't get me wrong, I do have the Cowboys in that game, but it wouldn't be the shock of the world if the Browns won. Cowboys are
Yeah.
favorite, but it wouldn't be like a holy shit.
Yeah,
The Browns beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think
Cowboys are favorite, but
the Browns are actually not bad.
yeah, they're not bad.
No, they're not a bad
good.
team at all.
They're actually they're kind of right like what you're like. I think it was last week or the week before that you brought up. The Browns learned just have Baker throw the ball 20, 25 times and he's fantastic, and let the running backs fucking run.
Yeah, how'd they do this week? I think Chubb got over 100 yards again, right? I don't know.
Yeah, Nick Chubb had 19 carries for 108 yards, and I think Kareem Hunt had a couple touchdowns.
Yeah,
like he wasn't their bell cow. He was like their third down back, and then they're receiving back out of.
Yeah, I got the box score up right here. So yeah, Baker was 16 for 23 for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns, a 117 rating. Nick Chubb had 19 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt 16 carries for we'll see here. He had 18 touches for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Productive. I mean, that's
fantastic.
Yeah, if they do that, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
So I will tell you this: fun facts about the Browns, because here in Norman we love it because fucking Baker Mayfield. This is the no shit. Even starting the season 1-0, because the Browns do this. This is the first time the Browns have had a winning record in 12 years.
That can't be right, is it? Really?
Yeah, they don't even start 1-0.
They always So when Baker came in, they didn't finish the season with a winning record. When he had those wins, they
finished 7-9, I think.
Yeah, and they didn't finish with a winning record, but yeah, and then the last time they made the playoffs, which is
oh fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it was when they had.
Oh, it was when they had probably Peyton Hillis or whatever.
No, did they make the playoffs that year?
Probably.
Yeah, I think they did.
They probably got knocked out in the first round, but yeah.
Yeah. So my point is, Ryan. Well, let's just say if Dallas loses to Cleveland, right? Again, I've got the Cowboys. I think if I had to put money on it, I'd take the Cowboys. But it wouldn't be out of this world to hear Cleveland win that game.
Same here. If Browns win that game, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
I am gonna. So I was gonna say I suppose I don't disagree with you, because granted Dallas lost Sunday, but
there's a good loss. That was a good loss.
That was a good loss. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I think it's going to probably come down to which team is going to make the least amount of mistakes. Because
Ross, to your point,
laundry all over the field.
Yeah, and I know where you're going. I know you're saying that NFC East, and you will not ever hear me defend the NFC East, but that division is absolutely.
If that all happens through 4 weeks of the season, the NFC East will be 2 wins, 13 losses and 1 tie.
Yeah.
At that point, all of a sudden, the Philadelphia Eagles will be 0-3-1 and only a half a game out of first place.
Right.
Jeez.
And I will say this: I've watched every game so far. Dallas is ahead of everybody else, even though they're 1-2. Even though they lost to the Rams and they went up to Seattle and lost, they are by far the best-looking team in that division. And when you're 1-2 and you're the best team in that division, that says something about your division,
Well, right. Yeah. Well, and you guys, the NFC East did 100% pull the shit into the stick, because you guys pulled the AFC North this year it was very Cincinnati's still rebuilding, but Cleveland's a dangerous team. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are very good football teams.
Yep.
And then you pulled the NFC West in which is the
best division of football.
Right, with the Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams, and Niners. Like, you guys got so fucking unlucky in your schedule this year.
I mean, the Cowboys. Listen, I could give 2 shits because we're gonna. It's early, and I'm gonna put my Ram sour guarantee on it. But the Cowboys are gonna win that division. And when it gets to the playoffs, when it gets to the playoffs, you'll get a bye week, or you might get a bye week, I guess. But you get to the playoffs, shit changes, and now it's 1 game at a time. Let's go out and win a game, and you don't have to worry about who you played in the past and how shitty your division is. Like, go out there and play games. So I used to think, I used to root for divisional opponents because I wanted to show how tough they were. When we played them, it's like, well, hey, we beat a Redskins team. That's pretty good, Like,
that I don't give a shit about this. Okay, there's no Redskins.
Right. I apologize for.
It is the Washington.
Ryan, you are now fined.
Well, they were the Redskins in the past.
It's like, you keep saying that, and you're gonna have the voice the the thing on the side of the wall that hands out tickets, like in Demolition Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
John spotted
hot
you'll
take.
find one.
Jalen Hurts
listen,
comes in for the Eagles and leads them to win the division.
Yeah. Actually, they actually came out and said, Peterson pretty much came out and squash that. He said Carson's a quarterback, whatever. But
I did see that.
Well, he's an idiot because
yeah,
Carson.
I watched
it is
the
3
highlights
weeks.
and-
It is 3. Listen, it is 3 weeks. It is no preseason. These teams are still getting it together. Like, would it surprise you guys if the Eagles all of a sudden started clicking and rattle off 5, 6, 7 wins in a row and take the lead in the division? That wouldn't surprise me.
It would, because if you want to hear the schedule, Ryan, this week they play the Niners. After that, they play the Steelers. After that, they play the Ravens. Then they play the Giants, which they can win. Then they play the Cowboys. They're going to lose 4 of their next 5 and be one.
Beat up Niners team. I'm not sold on the Niners. I don't know. I mean, they looked good this week, I guess, but I don't want to get too far into it. It is early in the season, but all I'm saying is if the Cowboys go 8-8, I could give 2 shits. Because we win the division.
tell you what,
that's all I care about.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if I agree with you on the Niners. I'm not quite sold on the Niners because they are very beat up. But I would not be surprised if the Giants go 0 and I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants go 0-16.
They might go 0-6.
Do you know who led? In the Niners-Giants game? Do you know who led in rushing?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones with 5 carries and 49 yards.
Did not even watch it. I knew it because I'm the man. Ryan, chalk that up there with your Steph Curry call.
Oh, Daniel Jones?
Well, Daniel Jones leading the game in rushing. It's the same thing as you calling Steph Curry making MVP. We're even.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're even.
And I called Ole Miss, man. We are geniuses, huh?
Oh, talk about the Cowboys. Seahawks was a great game. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was
I watched it. Yeah, it was.
I had it on the background when I was doing homework. I think from what I saw, Ryan, and granted, I am when it comes to NFL, I'm about as unbiased as you can get because I really can give it 2 shits. It's football, so I know it. But I thought it was a very good game. Don't get me wrong. It was a very good game. I thought there was definitely sloppy play on both sides of the ball.
Agreed.
Like that freaking your
Metcalf
made a fantastic play, but when he knocked the ball out of DK Metcalf thought he was waltzing in the end zone. We had a deep defender a yard behind him like a dumbass.
Yeah, I really like that cornerback. That he's going to be a star for the Cowboys here. He's a rookie this year, and he's already our best cornerback. And we lost Byron Jones, so we had to replace him. But he seems like he's filling the void pretty well. I mean, obviously, to catch up to DK Metcalf, you got to get beat. So,
it's true. It's very true.
He did get beat, but it was a tough heads-up play by him to keep chasing, and I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, and
Dallas special teams missed 2 extra points or two blocked extra points, I think.
I missed one. Greg the Leg missed one. His first one.
So it was either 1 blocked and 1 missed or something like that. But then our backup running back, I forget his name.
Pollard?
Tony Pollard. He had a kickoff return. He tried to pull it out of the end zone, then dropped it on the 1, and then tried to go back into the end zone, and then he was like, shit, what do I do? And then he just dove out on the 1-yard line. So next play is a safety. So chalk that up to another special teams miscue. As good as, and actually special teams was awful the week before too, with 2 fake punts that didn't go anywhere, but it all gets covered up when you have that amazing onside kick and whatever. But
yeah. Well, and I think to me, the big question mark to me, and this is one of my questions coming into this season with the Cowboys, probably my main question with the Cowboys is we all know Zeke is easily top 5 running back in the league, probably top 3. He's up there with the best.
Mm-hmm.
First 2 weeks, 22, 23 carries. Okay, that's about what game. That's probably where Zeke needs to be. Not a ton, but not a bad. And he was getting 80, 90 yards. He only had 14 carries for 34 yards.
Yeah.
Did not have a good game.
And granted, he did have 6 catches for 24. But again, I know you got you talked about it last week with Gallup and Cooper and Lamb, and
Cedric Wilson.
Yeah, and they're all fantastic running backs. But I really don't care about those guys. Ezekiel Elliott should touch the ball 25 to 30 times a game. Between catches and runs.
So I used to think that with the Cowboys, and
that's
for Dak's first couple years, you got to give Zeke, you got to take the pressure off of Dak. Dak has done nothing but show that he can take the ball and throw the ball 50 times a game. And I mean, right now he's a leading passer in the NFL, has most yards, completions, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's got weapons. You can. Last thing you want to see is you give Zeke the ball 30 times a game and he gets 2.5 yards a carry and you lose the game because you didn't use these 3 number 1 wide receivers that you have on the outside. Like, Dallas's offense is changing, and I think with McCarthy coming in, he's the Aaron Rodgers guy. Like, I agree. I would love to see Zeke get the ball more, but I mean, if he's not producing, if they're stacking the box, and Dak has options on the outside, and that's where the offense needs to go through, like, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not saying run, and I agree with you. I'm not saying run the ball, but I mean, granted, he did have 6 catches, but I mean, get him the ball in the flats.
Well,
he is a
Jimmy was saying that earlier. Yeah,
he was not himself because normally he's really good catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yep.
He had like 3 or 4 drops, and they were like wide open drops. It wasn't.
By the way,
contested.
Cowboys' offense looked great. I mean, that's the thing. Like, the offense so far this year has looked stellar. Like, they're leading in a lot of categories. They're utilizing every single weapon they have on the field, and obviously, special teams and defense is where we're struggling.
Well,
Like, I'm super impressed by the way that our rookie offensive tackles have been playing, and we still haven't gotten Tyron Smith back yet.
Very true.
Lil Collins is still out. Like, our offensive line's completely depleted, and we're able to protect Dak enough for him to get the ball down the field. So I see the Cowboys figuring it out. This is the happiest I've been with a 1-2 team in a long time.
Yeah.
It's like you said earlier when you talk about good losses. That was a good loss.
Yeah, and I think we're going to find out later in the year, but I still think the Rams, like, Sean McVay he had a bad year, right? Like, last year was not good for the Rams. They had a lot of injuries and stuff, and seems like their offense has figured it out. And we can kind of move to that Buffalo and Rams game. I know it's kind of 2 teams that us game. 3 don't really care about, but that was an amazing game. And
yeah, I was going to bring up Buffalo possibly being real. I mean, Josh Allen went for 24 for 33 for 311 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. So there is. I told Jimmy before the podcast I was wrong about Josh Allen. I thought he was Carson Wentz. Just not as good as Carson Wentz, and he has got it figured out. They said the one thing he needed to figure out was, like, reading the defense. Like, he had the arm, he had the size, he had the speed, he has the mobility, he has the strength and whatever, right? He has all those tools. He just needed to figure out decision making, accuracy and those things. And I think he's got it figured out. And that guy's going to be a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah, and he's got good weapons. He's got good receivers this year. He's got Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley.
Yep.
The other fun fact that I heard, actually, and it's funny you guys bring up Josh Allen because I was going to do it. So they're talking about it, and because even Josh Allen, even when you watch him play, he doesn't wow you. He just makes the plays he has to make.
Yep.
And in the last 13 games, Josh Allen has 33 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Yeah, see, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. But like when you watch him play, though, it's kind of like, all right, you're good, but it's not like when when Aaron Rodgers takes the field, or like when Peyton or Andrew Luck, like when they played, you're like, holy shit, this dude is like, I see why, or Patrick Mahomes, I see why he's the best quarterback in the league. I get it.
Yeah.
When Josh Allen takes the field, I'm like, I don't get it. But if you look at your stats, I mean,
they're
you do it.
Pretty good.
Pretty
well, I mean,
good.
And Josh Allen does wow you once in a while when he throws it
right.
170 miles an hour, like 70 yards down the field, right?
This morning they called him like the biggest roller coaster that's a starting quarterback. It's like he does some of these things that are like you said, like he just makes like a frozen rope 40 yards on the money. Yep. Like, holy shit. And then there's another one, he just lobs one up like a can of corn, and somehow it just falls right between 5 defensive backs right into his wide receiver's hands. And you're like,
yeah.
Okay, like, whatever, okay.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing, because not to shit on Buffalo, but they are in Buffalo, and they don't get the recognition that all these other teams get. And I think sneakily,
their history.
They've always been in the division with the Patriots, so they're always got to try to beat the Patriots, and they never could. Like, I think now
they're the favorite in that division to me.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be tough. It's going. I don't think the Patriots are not it's not an easy game. It's not an easy game for them to play.
So Ryan, I'm just going
to good.
You know what my favorite thing in the world is?
Yeah.
stats.
Shoot.
So talking about it, and we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the way they look. So granted, like numbers are going to vary because we've only played 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So this year the Cowboys are number 1 in offense, averaging 490.7 yards of offense. Right?
Not bad.
Not bad. Last year, which you guys did not make the playoffs last year, you guys were number 1 with 431.
Right.
Last year, you guys had the number 9 ranked defense. Right now, granted, it's 3 games in, I think it changed. You guys have the 7th worst defense.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty bad this year.
I think that, like, don't get me wrong, I still think because the NFC East and the way they are, you guys are going to make the playoffs. You couldn't pay me to think otherwise. But pending on who you guys match up with, unless you shore up that defense, I don't think the playoffs look pretty for you.
I agree.
Like who you're playing, like the other number 1 teams in the NFL or in the NFC. You're talking about playing the Packers or Bears. I'm not sold on the Bears. Packers look good. You'd possibly be playing Tom Brady or the Seahawks, or if you get a number 2 team of maybe the Saints or it's just the NFC's brutal this year.
Yeah, the knock last year and the knock on Dak last year especially was not being able to win close games. I think he was. I don't know what it is. It was something. It was bad. It was 1-8 in games decided by less than a field goal or something like that. It wasn't good. They got to turn that around, and we'll see if they can do it this year. I just think you get the offensive tackles back, you get some defenders back. You got to get better on defense and all that stuff. But their offense is good enough to go out and win games. That's all. I think they can run with the big dogs. They can run with Seattle. They can. Let's see if they can run with Kansas City if they ever have to see them.
I think if they can get their running game going and consistent, which they should be able to do.
Doesn't it sound like some other team that's played football with a firepower offense and a bad defense that we've talked about for years that Ryan gives shit to for not playing defense?
Hey,
but he's saying that they need to play defense.
Hey, with the defensive, with the personnel they have on defense at this point, especially with the injuries, you got to kind of pack that one in. And with the talent you got on offense, if you want to get in shootouts, I think they can roll with those shootouts. Dallas 3 years ago was time of possession, Zeke Elliott 40 times a game, Dak Prescott dumping it off, Jason Witten, whatever, running the clock out on teams. That they were
Jason
good at
Garrett
that.
clapping.
Right, and I get what you're saying about the injuries, but at the same time, I mean, there have been injuries, but so Sean Lee is injured.
Yeah, Leighton Vander Esch is injured.
Well, but Sean Lee is injured, and that's a no shit. He's always injured.
Yeah.
Vander Esch came in with injury questions. That's why he
had a big neck injury last year. Now he's got a collarbone.
So he came in with injury issues. And don't get me wrong, I've watched the kid play, and I hope he stays healthy because when he's on the field, he's dynamite.
Yeah, he's Urlacher.
Yep. Yeah,
he's an old school. Fantastic. Yeah, he's an old school guy. I love it.
But it's gonna be another one of those. All right, if he can ever get healthy. Yep. So I mean, that's 2 linebackers that they're injured, but I don't count them coming back.
Yeah, and the defensive backfield were injured and got
Awuzie or Awazi.
Yeah, Chidobe Awuzie or whatever. Yeah,
he's very good, and he's out, and he'll come back. And I think you guys will get pieces back to make the defense better.
Yeah.
But even with the injuries, when they come back,
so like we talked about, the NFC East is garbage.
Yeah,
you get healthy. If you get healthy week 16, it's going to be a different. If everyone's you got your full team back, everyone's healthy. It's week 16, and you can go into these games and you have your full defense, and you can start. I don't know. The bad thing. Go ahead.
I see what you're saying. I was going to say, I see what you're saying. But what I think, Ross, what you're saying is you could get guys healthy. That doesn't necessarily automatically make them a top 10 defense.
No.
I don't think they're ever. They will not sniff the top 10 defense. But if they're
right, that's exactly what I'm saying. When you guys are 7th worst, and I don't think you're in that way. But I mean, even when you guys are healthy, I'd say you're maybe the 14th or 15th, middle of the road.
See, that's what's tough is Dallas brought in their defensive line, like on paper, like you have Everson Griffith, DeMarcus Lawrence, Aldon Smith,
That's
some
pretty.
like
That's
some other
pretty.
guys,
Like
Alden
played
Smith,
really
the
good.
linebacker.
They played really good against Seattle. They were pressuring
Randy
Russell
Gregory
Wilson. It's
comes
just
back later. Like he's hurt. Like you can say what you want about Randy Gregory when he's on the
Yeah, I
field.
was like,
He's
that's a great.
he's a talented guy. Once he figures it out, he's a talented guy, right? But like the defensive, like the front, you should be rushing the passer every single play, and no quarterback should be able to have 3 seconds to throw the ball. And so far this year, they haven't shown that. That worries me more than almost anything else. Is they did a good job against Russell Wilson, put pressure on him, and Russell Wilson didn't. He looked a little like. I mean, obviously, he's the best quarterback in the league, and he proved it. But he looked like rushed a lot of times. They moved him out of the pocket. They were able to kind of contain him a little bit, but.
Yeah, at least Russell Wilson. You know,
If
you give him an inch,
that,
he's gonna get.
I'll still give that
3 or
note
4
to
yards.
Patrick Mahomes, by the way, but Russell Wilson's number 2.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic quarterback. He's
and Russell
let's say
1
A and 1B.
yeah.
And Russell broke the record for most touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah, and he's
broke Patrick Mahomes' record, but 14 touchdowns in 3 games is an impressive stat.
not to scoff at. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, we can get off the Cowboys and So Trubisky got benched. I
Yes.
called that one week 1. That was kind of waiting for that. I mean,
Large phallus
Nicholas came in.
big,
And,
large phallus Foles.
Big,
yeah, and that's hard.
Rick.
So that's hard to bench a quarterback that is 2-0.
He was the number 1 quarterback taken, and he was 2-0.
Yep.
But let's be honest, they're 2-0 because
not because of him.
Not
I mean,
'cause of him.
they might. Yeah, if Nick Foles starts week 1, they might, instead of winning these games by a field goal, they might be winning these games by 2 touchdowns. There's something about Nick Foles. Who was one of Ross? Did you and I, or is maybe Bryce? We got to see Nick Foles play at Arizona when we were all in Tucson.
No, yeah,
he was. They
played Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I've been a Nick Foles fan for a long time, and
Still going.
what he did. What he did in Philadelphia was amazing, and he's one of the better stories in the NFL. And,
Gooder. He's one of the
gooder story.
Gooder.
Yeah, but him, Chicago's got a pretty good team. They got talent. Tariq Cohen just blew his ACL this week. Kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be a rough one losing him.
But Nick Foles he doesn't give a shit where he is. He's gonna go in there and he's gonna throw the ball down the field. He's gonna score touchdowns.
20 points in the 4th quarter to come back and beat the Falcons. By the way, what the hell is wrong with the Falcons?
Yeah, we can get into that too. There's got to be a coaching change. I know that he has been not defending himself. He's like, hey, I got to get better. All I can do is control what I can do, and I need to get our players motivated and all that stuff. He says all the right things, but that is a disaster in Atlanta.
So fun.
By the way,
we were talking about the Cowboys and their yards per game, and don't get me wrong, they are fantastic. I'm not downplaying them by any means. I just want to bring up a fact. And they're what did I say? Like they're averaging like 417 yards a game, something like that. And they've scored 88 points in 3 games, which is pretty damn good. The Green Bay Packers have scored 122 points.
Yeah, they're a good team, and we'll see how far they get this year. I mean, I guess you always got Aaron Rodgers, and it's always
well. And that's it. Like if you look at him, Devontae Adams is out; he's not playing.
Yeah.
So they've got Alan Lazard and Marquise Valdez-Scantling as wide receivers.
It's
and
the
Aaron
opposite of the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys
Aaron
got
Jones is the running back, and they're putting up 122 fucking points.
Yeah, with the Cowboys, you got a top 5 running back and
3 fantastic,
3 number 1 wide receivers, in my opinion. And then
in Dallas,
in Green Bay, you got 2 wide receivers that if they go to another team, they'd be the number 3s, and you got a running back that might start for like 2 other teams.
We'll put it this way: they're wide receivers. I just literally told you their names. What are they, Ryan? Again, same again.
Lazard and was it Scantling?
Okay, fair enough.
I would have got Lazard.
I'm not going to say they're awful, but Green Bay's been notorious for that. Like, hey, Randall Cobb's a great player, and I think he's good. I think Aaron Rodgers made him an All-Pro.
Oh, yeah.
I don't disagree.
I
don't disagree.
I think Devontae Adams is a really good. Well, yeah, and who was Jordy Nelson? Jordy Nelson, good wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers made him an All-Pro.
Yeah, he left Green Bay to go to New York, and I believe he's out of the league now.
No, he went to Oakland. Yeah.
Did he go to Oakland?
Yeah.
Tom Brady does the same shit with all of his wide receivers.
Oh, that was the other one. Yeah, that was sorry. Who was the kid? He was in Denver. He was one of the wide receivers when they were scoring 150 points a game, and then they lost this.
Ed McCaffrey.
Well, I mean, he was in Denver. That's for sure.
You're talking about Wes Welker?
No. The
Shoot
tall
for the
guy.
stars, kid.
The wideout. He left Denver and went to New York, and now he's out of the league. I can't remember his name.
Jimmy, that's a great story. I have no clue who you're talking about.
It's
Not John, or Dimitri or
no, not him.
anyhow.
We're talking about quarterbacks who make wide receivers great. You know,
I mean
Manning
that's
was one of
so.
them.
Yeah, back to the point. Like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I could go play for Aaron Rodgers and I'd be an All-Pro. Okay, maybe not. But I'm saying the point is that Aaron Rodgers makes everybody around him better.
Only if you wear that cat makeup in that one picture.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
By the way, that was photoshopped.
Your face is photoshopped.
Sure was.
So
Literally.
yeah, it's the exact opposite of Dak Prescott. Like, hey, Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. He's leading the league in passing this year. He definitely benefits from having 3 studs on the outside. I don't know if well, we've kind of seen that. Dak, before Amari Cooper got there 2 years ago, 2 years ago.
He's still a good quarterback.
Terrence, what'd you have? It was like Terrence Williams.
Terrence Williams and Terrence Williams.
Yeah,
way to go, guys.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He had. I mean, he still was a good, okay quarterback, but he still struggled. But let's get off the Cowboys train. Let's quit talking about the Cowboys.
I wasn't. I was talking about the Green Bay Packers, and you brought it back to fucking Dak Prescott.
Yeah, my bad.
So don't give that shit.
So what else happened this week? The Eagles look like a completely disaster-riddled team. They are just.
Yeah, they tied with the Bengals, and oof.
Watching them in overtime, it just looked like the team gave up. They didn't give a shit about winning. Carson Wentz is huffing and puffing on the sidelines, doesn't look like the leader that he needs to be. I think something's got to change in Philadelphia pretty quick. I mean, but like I said, I mean, if they could turn it around, I don't know, but they got the talent, and we'll see.
Okay. So I'm going to take this conversation a little different direction.
Shoot.
All right.
So we're 3 games in. Granted, super early, like you said, Ryan. No, I'm not knocking it. It's true. There's a lot of football to play. Things can turn around. But 3 games in, God's gift to football is coming out next year. Who's the leader for Trevor Lawrence right now, and who do you think is going to get him? We have the Jets.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going over the over teams. Don't say I'm not saying they can win it, but the over teams are the Jets, the Bengals, the Texans, the Broncos, the Eagles, the Giants, the Vikings, and the Falcons.
I have my decision, my choice.
Well, let's hear it, Jimbo.
I'm going to say probably the Jets because they are god awful, and I don't think Sam Darnold's the guy. And Adam Gase is probably going to get fired here real soon.
Yeah, I read it that they're saying that they play Thursday night against the Broncos. And if they lose to the Broncos, then Adam Gase is gone.
They very likely could lose to the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos are not bad. They're just
think of that division
injured.
too. Like, you're going to lose both games against New England. You're going to lose both games against Buffalo, and you'll probably end up losing both games in Miami because Miami is a tough team. Like, I don't think they're a great team. I don't think they're good by any means, but they're a lot better than the Jets.
They'll win somewhere between 5 and 8 games, I think.
And they have Mike Gesicki, who's the best tight end in football. So.
And they got Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
So the Jets.
That might be a good pick on that one, Jim.
Well, let's knock some out. So the Bengals, obviously, they just took Burrow. They ain't taking him. Houston, Texas got Deshaun Watson and just gave him a extension. They ain't taking him.
No.
So that leaves Falcons, Vikings, Giants, Eagles.
Here's a question: Could the Saints pull a Mike Ditka and give up all of their draft picks to get Trevor Lawrence?
I think I mentioned that during the first podcast that I did with you guys. I kind of threw that out there, like, hey, this is Drew Brees is like possibly last year. He might play next year. Like,
and now they're 1-2. I didn't think they were going to be 1-2 at this point.
They're 1-2, but you got to think that team will go at least 8-8, right? Like,
well, it depends.
If you're
on
8-8, are you in the conversation for Trevor?
No. Well, and to me, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's like the future and everything, and Trevor Lawrence is obviously a better quarterback. But to me, if you're the Saints, you'd have to give up your future to get Trevor Lawrence.
Depending on
You do have Jameis Winston, who is learning behind Breeze.
And he's not terrible.
He's not exactly. That's what my point. He's not
he's not bad, but he's not good. It's really weird.
But if somebody told you Jameis Winston was like this year, he was a starter in the NFL. All right, that doesn't shock me.
No,
okay, he's not horrible, but it's not like a holy shit. He's what? So I don't see the Saints.
Tell you what,
I really don't want. I don't want him to go to the Jets because I think the Jets is where players go to die.
I got a conspiracy theory.
Oh fuck! Here we go. Let's see.
My conspiracy theory is that the Falcons are tanking on purpose, so they can replace Matt Ryan.
If I only believe that because it came out with dog shit uniforms.
And coming into this year, did we actually think the Falcons were going to be this bad?
No, they've got talent all over that field.
I think they're 2 years away from removed from a Super Bowl. I mean, they're not like they haven't depleted that much. Like I
thought
they added
Todd go about
Gurley.
8-8 around there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I was going to say anywhere between like 8. Yeah, about 8 to 9 wins.
Well, the thing about them, like if you're like, and I'm looking at it with them offensively. They've scored the fourth most point.
Dude, and me and Jimmy talked about Stephen Ridley, like Calvin Ridley. Like he looks like he's a top 5 wide receiver. I mean, he's
easily early season offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah,
Ridley
he played
top 5.
Yeah,
he did last year.
Yes,
I'm down.
But
wait, didn't he have a cousin or something that's got drafted?
Stop it, Jimmy. Just stop it.
Randy Moss. So I think Ross, bring this. So let's pause this conversation for
Ryan,
like 6 more weeks.
He also played the year before that. His rookie year was 2018. So
right,
Jimmy, you're real close.
I watch college football, man, and baseball.
But I think this is going to be a fun conversation to have like midway through the year when we get Falcons might get some wins. You know, I mean, Panthers might lose the rest of their games throughout the year. I mean, they just won this week. But
when it comes, I don't know what the fuck what's going on with you. You are the most pessimistic, glasses half empty person, except when it comes to the NFL. And you're like, well, they could get some wins, and
because the NFL is such a fucking shit show. And actually, me and Jimmy were talking about this before. We were high on the Chargers last week. It was a good loss against the Chiefs. Chargers go in and fucking get beat by the Carolina Panthers, who are a dog shit team.
They don't have a running back.
Whatever. They lost. They lost to the Panthers, and who don't have a running back either. Then we were high on Kyler, and we were high on Arizona, and saying, hey, Arizona might be a really, really good team, and then they get beat by the Detroit Lions at home. And Kyler threw three pretty bad interceptions.
But he also broke somebody's ankles, by the way.
He did break some guys. He broke some guys' legs and ankles at the same time. And
I saw that. You said it, Ryan. I saw the highlight later. I was like, "Ooh, that's what Ryan was talking about."
Yeah. But I mean, that's what the NFL is. That's what I mean. Like, you have teams that look good one week, and then you go the next week, and you're like, "Wow, that's the worst team in football." Like, what the hell is going on? That's what I like.
Let's get real, Ryan. That's not the NFL. That's every pro sport. The only difference is NBA's got 82 games to cover up that one game.
That's true.
Baseball's got 162 games to cover up those games. NFL, there's only 16. So if you play like shit, people think about it for a week.
But to my point, let's wait till 6 weeks in, and then we can kind of. I think the bad teams will start removing themselves from the field. You know what I mean? I think early we got to keep it if you want to call it pessimistic, sure. Like, let's just. I mean, Cowboys are 1-2, but they're still a good team.
You hate everything, except when it comes to NFL, and you're very glasses half full.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know.
Hey, by the way, do you think AD's gonna hit 1,000 yards?
Is he?
How many did he get this week?
Yeah, what's he averaging?
Right now, so far, he's got 43 carries for 209 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry.
At 37 years old.
He might be the most freak of nature thing ever.
So, as talking to him with my buddy this week, and like the difference between Christian McCaffrey's, they're starting to use him a lot in that offense. Obviously, since he's been in the league, he's the number one. He touches the ball more than anyone else in the league, right? They use him in pass, they use him in running,
right.
They do all these.
Nothing else.
His durability is I'm not saying it's in question at this point. I think he's done a very good job of staying healthy. He's obviously
Yeah,
hurt right now.
I was gonna say I think this is the first time he's missed significant time.
Right, and he's built up. He's gotten bigger. He's put more weight on, and he's done a very good job of that. And I was trying to compare him to like Adrian Peterson, and I just kind of couldn't. I was like, Adrian Peterson's different.
Can't.
Like when it
If
comes,
you're
because
gonna
we were talking
compare-
about
yeah.
ACLs. Yeah, we were talking about
If you
ACLs, and when Adrian Peterson tore his ACL, he came out and said, "Hey, I'll be back in 6 months, and I'm going to be better than ever." And everyone's like, "You okay?"
Yeah,
And he came out and ran 2,000 yards the next year.
Yeah,
and
he was
MVP.
I think he's won comeback player of the year
you at
twice.
Buffalo Wild Wings watching that final game when he was like 5
Yeah,
yards regular
yeah.
record. And we were there. We're like, give him the goddamn ball.
Yeah, I wanted
He hit
him so
2,000.
bad.
Was he just under?
He hit 2,000, but he was like 9 yards short or something like that.
Hold on, I'll tell you the exact number. But yeah, he is.
So, to your point, Ross, he's
a freak of nature.
He is an absolute horse, and he runs like it. And it doesn't. I mean, it looks like he's aged a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's just instead of being.
Do I think he's going to get 1,000 yards though?
Actually, by the way, Jimmy, he's 35 years old. Okay, because he was like the way that I.
Oh, so he's old as you.
Right, yeah. So this is how I compare my life and how shitty is that I am. I've done the math and looked at it.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm 3 years older than Adrian Peterson and 3 years younger than LeBron James. So then I'm over here drinking wine, watching Monday Night Football.
And I'm older than all of you.
That's true. By the way, Ryan, that year he ran for 2,097 yards.
Okay, there it was. I think he was just short from the record. That's what it was.
He was short from the Eric Dickerson's record.
Yeah,
so
and I loved it. They asked like Eric Dickerson, "Do you want to see him break your record?" He's like, "No,
hell no,
hell no."
So fun fact, and again, we keep going back to this. Only 3 games in. Adrian Peterson, I don't know, decent running back. On point right now. Excuse me. Oh, actually, we'll start with this. He's only averaged more yards a carry twice in his career than he has right now. When he ran for 2,097 yards, he averaged 6 yards even yards carry.
Yep.
In his rookie year, he averaged 5.6 yards a carry. He's averaging 4.9 right now.
So it's a little different, but I will say if they're able to manage his carries and not give him the ball as much, and if he can last the whole season, yes, he'll hit 1,000. So I just hope Detroit doesn't kind of like beat him into the ground and run him 20 or 30 times a game.
That's not Detroit's offense right now. Detroit's offense is their passing.
Well, and at this pace, he's on pace for 215 yards a carry, or 215 yards a game, which would put him with his yards a carry, put him just under 1,100 yards.
Wait, hold on. You're saying 250 yards a game?
No,
average?
215 carries for the season is what he's on pace for.
Okay.
Sorry, 215 carries for the season is what he's on pace for at 4.9 yards. He's on pace for just under 1,100 yards. If that dude gets 1,100 yards in his Jesus Christ
year 35.
Well, his rookie year was 2007, so he's in his 14th year, and he could very easily bust 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And he's still 6'1", 220. I mean,
yeah, I don't think he has the explosion that he once had, but
he doesn't
I don't
have
think
the explosion breakaway speed anymore. But
I mean, that's how good he was, though. Like he.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. He's been fun in the NFL, but when he was at OU and he was just a man among boys, he was just obvious. Like in the NFL, he was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
It's the NFL going against NFL linebackers. When he was playing against OU, playing against guys that are going to be accountants and not NFL players, just watching what he did to them. Oh my God, it was so fun. Yeah,
he's your Saquon, right? I mean, that's how I felt for 3 years when Saquon was at Penn State. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's my one argument about, and just we're getting on a total squirrel here, but when people say, like, especially about running backs, and I think it got tossed around. I don't think it was any of us, but when people say like a once in a generation,
yeah.
Well, when it comes to running backs, like, well, my generation includes Adrian Peterson. So unless you're going to be better than Adrian Peterson, then you're not a once in a generation.
I'd say so. The problem with Adrian is that he's stuck around the league for so long that he covers that whole generation.
He covers a couple.
Yeah, I just
There are guys. There
A
are
better way to
guys
say it is
playing
like
right
once in
now
a
that probably
10-year
had.
type of player, right?
Yeah, he. There are guys
Well,
that he's playing with
within
now who
10
probably had
years,
his poster on his wall.
within 10 years includes his 2,100 yards
Yeah.
season. So it's still at that point, you're still talking.
I mean, Barry was in our generation, right? We all grew up watching Barry.
Oh,
And
we grew up watching him.
And Emmett.
I don't remember him as well as
Adrian. Yeah.
yeah, or
Well,
I mean,
Adrian was
I
when
do
we were
remember
older.
Emmett a lot. Well, pretty much because I lived in Oklahoma, which the Cowboys were always on TV.
Well, Ryan, you and I are the same age, and we are right in that wheelhouse when, we started focusing on sports. And
Yeah.
Barry Sanders was everywhere. Barry Sanders was the best running back in the league. I mean, besides Emmett Smith.
Literally the only
He was on
reason
the
to
best
watch
team.
Detroit Lions for 10 years. Like
Yeah.
they were a dumpster fire for 10 years, and everybody
The only
watched
reason
because
to
you got
watch
to see
is 'cause-
Barry do his thing.
Yeah, he was a magician too.
Yeah. So, all right, boys. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. So I think we're gonna call it quits.
Yeah, let's.
We got plenty more to talk about. We got lots of football coming up this year. We got a couple UFCs to watch. We didn't talk about Costa, not Asanya.
Yeah.
Or any of that. Yeah, we could tackle that a little bit next week.
Next week.
And I told Matt Gray this. I know me and Jim, before we recruited Ryan, obviously, we went on a little hiatus. It was a little hard to talk sports when the same thing over and over was COVID.
Yeah.
So we were taking breaks. Now that college football back, which is like, I know we talk everything, but college football is our bread and butter. Now that that's back, all Power Fives are back. Big Ten's coming back. Pac-12, everything. Like, we will be recording every week. I don't think there's a question on this unless there's some sort of emergency. We will be back every week. So for sure, tune in every single week. I'm going to try to think of some kind of little giveaway I can give to try to get some people about cases of beer. Or
if you listen, here's one. If you want to send us your picks for this week and try and beat us, we could probably do like a free T-shirt or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we could do a. Okay. What we'll do, Jim, and I'm going to need you to do that. Do this, and I can send you what I have. We got to put our picks with the lines.
I got them
on the on our Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Just because the lines do change, so you have to go against the same lines that we.
The lines that we went against. Yes.
Yeah, you can't go against like some other ones. Like, oh yeah, well,
we're talking about lines that on a Monday.
Yeah, it's like
they're going to be probably completely different on Friday.
Yeah, come Friday, it's like, oh, Spencer Rattler broke his leg. OU's now actually a 15-point dog. Like, wow,
yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, you can't do that.
No, don't do that.
So no, I think that'll be a lot of fun. And whenever each week, like I said, like I will work on getting T-shirts. We got a new logo out, and then maybe some more merchandise for fun. And if you want to join in and put it in, like. You got to give it. You can't give it to me or Jim or Ryan in chat. You have to post it on our social media and post it on your page.
Why? Yes, please. We got to get. We're getting. We got to
doing it. Like, hey, this is for Boom and Buck podcast. This is what I got for my picks this week.
Yeah. Give us a shout. We are on Instagram. We are boom_and_buck_blue_podcast. I might have to change that. That's a little.
Hey, Jim, change the BBB_podcast.
B3.
Yeah, B3 _podcast. But yeah, we'll work on that. But yeah,
we'll work on it. Yeah,
but if you guys want to go against me, because Ryan and Jimmy obviously blow. So. If you want to go against me.
Well, hey, what's the record? What are we looking at?
We are currently sitting at Ross is in the lead. He is the only winning record with 9-8. Ryan, you are in second, 7-10, and I'm at 5-12.
By the way, I say that, but like looking at my picks this week, and the more I think deep into it, I'm like, yeah, I could not do the good this week. This could be an ugly
Yeah.
week.
By the way, I'll talk about it later. I don't want to get us too far. We're already at.
We'll talk after we get off.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back up again on next Monday. But yeah, if you want to follow us on Boom Buck and Blue Podcast on Facebook, that's all you got to look for. We're also on YouTube, Boom Buck and Blue Podcast. Just look us up, give us a follow, and share. The best thing you can do is share, subscribe. because we're
Okay.
professional podcasters. So now I got to say that shit now.
Okay, Jim,
So-
I'm going to do one more thing, okay, before we
right.
get out. So obviously we gave Matt Gray a shout out today, and very warranted. He's a very avid listener. Love you, Matt. Thanks for listening. We're not going to say how or why, but Jimmy's going to have a new entrance song for this week. If you can tell me
Oh, I got to change
what
it now.
that
I had
song,
one.
what that song is, you get your shout out. Tell me where that song came from for our new entrance song. Like, there's one coming up for this week for this podcast, Jimmy, that we talked about. We're going to play. If you can name the entrance song of this podcast, I'll give you a shout out next week. We all will.
That sounds good to me. Ryan won't get it.
Didn't you already give it to me?
We'll talk about it offline.
We'll
Don't
talk
ruin
about it live. All right. Anyway, so that is it for this week. We will see you all next week. Please like, share, subscribe, share. I see a lot of people liking this stuff. I just share it.
We are getting more viewers. We're definitely getting more viewers. Tell your friends, tell your family. Listen to us on your drive, wherever the fuck you go. We're entertaining at the least. I'll make fun.
We'll try and keep it as lower even than this week. This week was even actually pretty long. But either way, love you guys.
Love you, bitches. I'm out.
See you, everybody.
Bye.